Hey everyone, it's ParaTwo Gaming, or just Para, or Gabe from ParaTwo Gaming if you've been around for a while. This title is not clickbait. The channel ParaTwo Gaming really is coming to an end. This may seem sudden to all of you, but in fact this is a decision that has come about throughout most of this year. I split this video up into various sections to make the viewing experience easier, and you're free to jump around as you'd like using the timestamps in the description. However, I do recommend watching everything in order, as there's a lot of information that I need to give to set up what finally forced me to make this decision. Without further ado, let's roll back the curtains a little bit on both my life and ParaTwo Gaming. Now, as some of you may know, I've become far more politically aware over the last 4 years or so, and unfortunately I do need to explain some things that have been happening in US politics this year, but I'll keep everything as brief as possible. I'm currently in my senior year of college, majoring in political science. Long term, I intend to work in either an advisory position to an elected official, or work in a government bureaucracy working on public policy. There was a string of Supreme Court cases this year that really shook up politics, and while the one that got the national attention was the overturning of Roe v. Wade, there was another case that, given a broad interpretation, could impact the effectiveness of the federal bureaucracy. Couple this with the rise of political candidates advocating for the execution of progressives working in government, or in other words, people like future me, and you can imagine how this has impacted my long-term career goals. Now, when I first became politically aware, I swore to myself that I would never join the hellscape that is political content online. However, given changing circumstances, I decided that it wasn't a reasonable option to stay out of it, and that I have the real chance to advocate for policy and get other people politically motivated. This was around June 2022, when I decided that ParaTwo Gaming would end within the next few years, and I would, at a time that I felt I could handle it mentally, create political content under a new brand. However, the time that was planned was likely to be sometime between fall of 2023 and fall of 2024, so what big things did I have planned for that time? There were a few big things that I wanted to do between now and the end of ParaTwo Gaming that, at the very least, I will no longer be the face of. First, I want to create a place where Splatoon creators can collaborate and network. I was working on how exactly this would work, but the plan was to have a Discord server with potentially hundreds of creators where anyone could reach out for collaborations, from a simple 2-person league session to massive events the size of Squid for Kids or Epi's Gaming for Ukraine event. I'd hope to foster a community full of tons of creators supporting and collaborating with each other, even more than we as a community already succeed at this. The second thing I wanted to do was create a lot of cool Splatoon 3 content. I tried out a Splatoon minigame like horse and basketball called Squid, and I intended to challenge many other creators to that game. I also had plans to come up with a way to play a bingo board in Splatoon, similar to how bingo is done in games like Mario Odyssey or Zelda Breath of the Wild. Both games would also be available for others in the community to take and use with other content creators besides me if the ideas ended up working out well. There would have been other ideas that I had yet to come up with. However, I was forced recently to make a big decision on whether it was really feasible to continue ParaTwo Gaming and achieve the goals I had set out to do. Segue. Now, since I had already planned to end ParaTwo Gaming, the only reason I was continuing to run the channel was to leave something behind for the community in my absence. If those goals could not be reasonably achieved, then there wouldn't really be a point in continuing to run ParaTwo Gaming, regardless of my passion for the channel. Some of you may know that during the summer of 2021, I moved from Alabama to Arkansas. One of the consequences of this is that I ended up having somewhat stable internet with good enough speeds to stream in higher quality than I had previously. That all changed this summer when it was suddenly announced that our ISP was merging with another ISP within the same parent company, and that the hardware used would be that of the new ISP. Ever since the merge was announced, our internet has been horribly inconsistent, with us losing complete internet access for 10 to 30 seconds, sometimes multiple times a day. Because of this, I've struggled to stream in general, but it's hit Splatoon and other collaborative streams especially hard. Of course, Splatoon and collaboration were meant to be the backbone of the next few years of content, and I'm now at the mercy of the only ISP in my area with good enough speeds to even consider streaming with. As such, I was recently left with a choice. Either hope that my ISP gets itself sorted out within the next few months so I can begin working on everything that I had originally intended to do, or call it quits on the channel that I had already planned to end. As the title and the rest of the video would imply, I chose the latter. Not out of a desire to quit or a lack of passion for ParaTwo Gaming, but more out of practicality. I would be wasting my time to try to achieve my goals within the next few years, only to likely be put on a much shorter time crunch than I would have had otherwise. I do only have one regret from ending the channel this way, and that's that it didn't end with a bang, but with a whimper. As of today, the ParaTwo Gaming channel is officially ending, but that would be a kind of sad way to end the video, so let's talk a little bit about my future online. As for my online presence, it will be shifting almost solely to the ParaTwo channel. I've recently gotten back into Luigi's Mansion 3 Scarescraper speedrunning, and I rejoined competitive Splatoon on Wednesday, September 14th during Swimmer Sync. Should I be able to stream in the future, due to getting a better ISP when I move next, I will likely move to my Twitch channel, ParaTwo_, for streaming competitive Splatoon. I highly recommend you all follow my other social medias and channels. All the links you'll need are at the top of the description. Someday, I will also most likely start up a political commentary channel, so keep an eye on my Twitter, @ParaTwo_, for news on that. For my Discord server, I intend to continue running it, as I have been with Makake and Square, and we don't plan to archive or delete the server at any point. So if you still want to hang out with other community members, feel free to stick around. Lastly, I would like to thank the people that made this 5-year journey special. To all the creators I got to interact with in DMs or through collaborations, it was great meeting you, and the greatest thing I'll miss from this is the collaborative streams that I did. I also want to specifically thank Vicvion, HyperTiger, Jacojan, ThatBallGamer, and Skip the Tutorial. Vic, thank you for providing a ton of support for my channel. Literally none of this would have happened without you. Hyper and Jack, you both introduced me to so many awesome creators, and you were both so much fun to stream with. Bald, thank you for giving me the most memorable stream I've ever participated in when I got to be in Squids for Kids. It truly means the world to me that I got to be a part of that. And lastly, Skip, thank you for helping with advice on YouTube stuff behind the scenes. I really appreciate your help. I also want to thank the thousands of people who tuned into my streams over the years. It really was incredible to hear how much people enjoyed my content, and I hope to see you all around going forward, as I'll still be around the community myself. As a final thank you, I want to say a massive thanks to Radical Red for being there for me during the decision-making process for ending the channel. I was in a really rough place mentally, just frustrated at things outside of my control, and kind of unsure of what to do when I felt forced to decide on this, and they were there for me to vent. Not only that, but they also helped me think things through and gauge my options. If you don't have a Radical Red in your life to reach out to in difficult times, make sure you have one. And try to be a Radical Red for your friends as well. They may need your help with things at some point. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Thank you all for joining me, and I'll see you around.